Welcome everyone to the Heritage Committee meeting of Wednesday, June 16th, 2021. I call the time at 3:04. We have an agenda before us. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? Gus, seconded by Mike. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. Item number 2. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we move on to item number 3, confirmation of the minutes of the April 27th meeting 2021 of the Heritage Committee. Are there any questions, edits, errors, or omissions to mention in those minutes? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adopt the minutes? Michael, seconded by Robert, I'm going to say, if he's got no objections. I'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. Item number 5, unfinished business list. Over to you, Jennifer.
All right, so as per usual, I'll just go through what I've changed this month. So the first one would be the Plaque pilot program. I changed the one explanation from implement the Heritage Plaque program to encourage property owners of designated properties to participate in the Heritage Plaque program. As of February 25th, we have implemented the Heritage Plaque with our first 4 plaques. And I also changed it to ongoing, as this is something that we will continue to do until everybody has a plaque on their designated property. I did try to get in touch with MTO again this past week. They have been really hard. It's been a bit hard getting in touch with anybody. So we're still waiting for that letter, unfortunately, to discuss the bylaw for the Parkway gates. So once I have an actual update for that, hopefully it will be with the letter. I'll let everybody know, and I will send the contents of the letter to everyone. The next one, I removed the grant guidelines document as we completed that, and it's been approved by council. So that is up on the website, and all the edits are done. So it's been removed from the unfinished business list as it is finished. And tour brochure, we're bringing that back again this meeting. So I did state that there. And if we do approve the contents and printing and everything of the brochure, did we want that struck off the unfinished business list or leave it for the next meeting?
Any comments to that? Gus?
Sorry about that. If it's approved and goes to council, then I think it can be struck. Although in your report, you do acknowledge that we talked about pursuing other formats, such as online stuff. So that should be recognized in that chart.
Okay. All right, so that is it for the unfinished business list.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept Jennifer's report on the unfinished business list as presented? Gus? Seconded by John, we'll say. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. Item number 6, reporting from council. I assume that's to you as well, Jennifer?
Yeah. All right, so this is just very quick. At the May 10th regular council meeting, we had submitted a report to request that the deadline that was on the guidelines document would be changed. Originally, it was May 21st or the 3rd Friday of May. as that kind of gave a static date that may not work in future years, such as this year, due to COVID-19 and restrictions and lockdowns. We had discussed with the committee at the last meeting about changing that line to say that applications would be submitted in the second quarter of the calendar year, so spring essentially, while also sending out a secondary letter to property owners of designated properties to let them know that this change has been made and that this year the submission deadline for applications to the grant program is June 30th. So we brought that to council and they approved the 2 resolutions. We also sent out those letters back in May. So all property owners should know that June 30th is the deadline for this year for grant applications. And that's all for that one.
Any questions or comments on Jennifer's report from council? Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to receive Jennifer's report. Robert, seconded by Gus. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Motion is carried. Item number 7, reports. The first, 7.1, heritage permit application for 402 Academy Street, Bath.
All right, so at our last meeting at the end of April, Ted and Arnold, they brought in an application for work on the sanctuary part of the United Church on the roof there. And that originally was for a sealant, but during discussions with the committee, the report was deferred, the permit, and they are going to be doing replacing the sanctuary roof with diamond steel roofing. And that is what the heritage permit that is brought in today speaks to.
What is the pattern of the roof that's on the church part? Shouldn't they both be similar?
The pattern that's on the roof is a horizontal strip. We took some pictures of that, and the pattern that we are going with is not the diamond pattern from Diamond Roofing, but a horizontal shingle that is approximately 11 inches by 40 inches. And it'll give a similar appearance to what is currently there.
Thank you.
Sorry, Gus, I had recognized you, but hadn't hit my mute button. I thought you had a question, did you? Or a comment?
I didn't raise my hand, but
oh, sorry.
I think this product was used on the Ham House in the diamond format. It is a very good product, and I think it will suit the roof of the church quite nicely. Therefore, move that the report be accepted and the recommendation to approve the heritage permit for the Bath United Church be made with a recommendation to council to approve it.
I'll take that motion. Do I have a seconder? Robert? Any further comments, Gus, as the mover?
No.
No? Seconder? Anybody else? All right, then I'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Any opposed? That's carried. Number 7.2, heritage plaque for 12675 Front Road, Amherst Island.
All right, so this one keeps bouncing back to us. So I had gone to the island and taken pictures of the wall, did some close-ups as well. And I sent that to the committee so that they could make suggestions on where the pole would go. But in speaking with the property owners, there is limestone very close to the surface of the ground there, less than a foot close. So I did relay that information to Gore Group. I sent them all the pictures that I had sent to the committee. And while I was at the wall, I had taken pictures of how they had essentially joined their picket gate to the wall, and they had drilled into the side of the wall without any issue. And it was anchored pretty good. It doesn't budge. So when speaking to Gore Group, they suggested that we install the plaque directly to the top stone on the left side of the wall, directly to the wall instead of a post, as we will have to drill through limestone to attach the post or figure out another way to get the post to stay in that area and be solid. So they did send a second estimate just for the production and the installation of the post. I also asked how they would be installing that, the plaque to the wall. And they said they would most likely be using a drill or a hammer drill to get into the stone first. And then they would install with screws and fasteners. I asked the property owners if they had a preference, and they don't care if it goes on a post or goes directly to the wall.
Gus, go ahead.
Jennifer, on the gate, there's a small, looks like a plaque, but I tried to enlarge the picture. I can't see if it really is or not. Do you recall if that's some sort of plaque or door number or something?
On the wall?
No, the gate.
On the gate. Yeah, it's, I believe they put that on there. It just says Simpson.
Sorry?
It has their name on it. It's a little plaque that they put on there.
I'm just wondering, the idea of drilling into the wall, I have some hesitation with that. If possibly the location for it might be the gate, which would be easy to fasten to.
I could speak to the property owners to see if they'd be willing to have it installed there, and then speak to Goreway about that as well.
If not that, the recommended site, I don't know if everybody is on that page with the images or not. That's page 41 of 74. And this is a dry stone wall. So that large capstone there could be lifted. And if they used a bracket, the width of the sign, like an L bracket, it could possibly be shoved in where the weight of the upper stone is holding a bracket in place, as opposed to drilling into the wall itself.
I can speak to Goreway and see if there's another way to fasten either to the gate or speak to them about an L fastener to see if there's a way to fasten it without drilling into the stone.
Yeah, because if they can lift that stone, it looks as if it's big enough that the weight of it would hold, and almost the bottom surface looks somewhat flat, that an L bracket may rest there comfortably.
Yes, I can. Oh, sorry, go ahead, John.
Oh, if they can drill into the stone wall, they can drill into the limestone bedrock. There's no difference because it's made out of the same stuff. And you just may need a bigger drill, which you can rent at a rental place, and drill a hole down, stick your post in. And so I don't see the problem with putting up a post, but I like Gus's idea about if you could lift the capstone and slide a bracket in, then you're not doing any of that. And the weight of the stone will hold the bracket in place.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to Goreway Group and see about how we can get that on the stone without drilling into it, as well as speaking to if they can't do like an L bracket drilling into the limestone.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the gate, Jennifer? Are you going to talk to the property owners about that possibility as well?
I'll speak to them first to see if that's a possibility, and then speak to Goreway as well.
Gus, I saw you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you. Also mentioned the L bracket idea to them as well, though.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the invoice. Can you refresh my memory? I know this is a revised invoice, but had we already paid for the plaque on its own?
No, so we held that plaque back, so we'd need to pay for it.
Okay, and the regular price of the plaques each, do you recall what they worked out to?
I think it was just under $400 per plaque.
Right.
And then installations were at the same price as a plaque.
Okay. So no, I was just looking at the price tag of this and thinking, wow.
Yeah.
But if that's what it was, then that is what it was. I didn't realize it was that steep per installation.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
John, go ahead.
If you go with a L bracket, then you just have to buy the plaque, and the township can manufacture an L bracket to fit the situation there with the capstone. So you'd save considerable cost in the company installing it.
Yep, I can definitely check into that with Goreway as well. Sorry, we have 1 sec. I just have to send a email to IT very quickly.
I can do that, Jennifer, if you want to continue.
Yeah, that'd be great. I guess they didn't send us the license yet. All right, so I guess the plan is I messaged the homeowners, discussed the idea of having the plaque put on the fence before speaking to Goreway about having the plaque installed using some kind of bracket, and then going into detail about a post. Is that kind of the idea?
I think so, Jennifer, as well as when you speak to the property owners, that both of those options are explained to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that fair, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. I'll ask for a motion then to receive the report and affirm the recommendation that the direction that we've just given to staff that Jennifer's described. So can I get a mover? Gus, seconded by John, we'll say. All those in favor, please raise a hand. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Next item, 7.3, Historic Bath Self-Guided Walking Tour Brochure.
All right, so we're bringing this one back. So last meeting, we had brought this forward. There has been some changes made with staff and the subcommittee members. So I did bring back the estimates that we had previously. Right now, the contents are 44 pages. So I took out, before I had an estimate for 40 pages as well, just so you can see the difference. But the contents do come to 44 pages. So that is what we have there. There's 2 companies that I've been getting estimates from, and that's KPP Printing and Gilmore Reproductions for 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 copies. And I will remind everyone that the Bath Canada Day Committee had donated $500 to go towards the printing costs. And Gus is also donating $1,000 for printing costs as well. So we can take about $1,500 off. And right now, Gilmore Reproductions for 3,000 copies at 44 pages seems to be the better bargain, as it's just over $2,600. So I did attach the brochure to the agenda, but I sent it as a separate link for everybody as the formatting gets a little wonky. So right now, that's what we have for contents. There was one thing that I did change since sending it out, And that is on the Welcome to Bath page, which is the pages that start after the map. I just, on the word Indigenous, I capitalized the I. I've unfortunately missed that before sending it out to everybody. So I fixed that now. And that's the only thing that's changed.
Jennifer, before we go any further, I know Andrea's probably dealing with it. Are we confident that we'll be in under the wire in the next 4 minutes?
Confident. Unfortunately, I do think I'm trying to get a hold of IT, but I can't right this second. And I believe, and from what I understand, I think it's hard to assign the license once a meeting has already started.
Okay.
So I think what this happened before, I think what may need to happen is when it cuts out, everyone just needs to go right back into the link.
That's what I was going to address. Yeah, so I think that's probably going to need to happen. We're going to get kicked out in about 3 minutes and 33 seconds. And when we do, we'll just need to sign back exactly as it was before, and we'll just proceed with the meeting.
Okay.
Technology.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Jennifer, you carry on.
Okay. So it's the last report. Maybe we can squeak in under 3 minutes, but I don't know. So yeah, KP printing for 1,000 copies or more. They said it'll take about a week for 1,000 copies, could be more for more copies. It's the same with Gilmore Reproductions, but they will have to send the product to Ottawa to be printed, and then they would send the product back to Kingston, where I would pick it up from their Kingston location. But it only takes about 1 to 2 business days to get from Ottawa to Kingston, and shipping is free for that. So that's not a big issue. So the committee would have to approve the design as well as the contents of the brochure. Once the committee approves that, it's finalized, and then I can bring it to the next council meeting. I've got a report ready to go so that it could be brought for their information. They don't need to approve costs or the contents really, but we do want to bring it up for their information. Once that is done, I can put this on the website so that people can access it from their phones, on their computers if they wish. Printing would be a little bit later. So depending on when we get everything out to the printers, we'd have the physical copies by sometime mid to late summers for everybody to use.
John, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question on the brochure right at the end with the flags. Okay, both flags were called the Union flag and were also called the Union Jack. So it's not, one was the pre-1801 was also called the Union Jack, and after 1801 was also called the Union flag and the Union Jack. And today's terms, both are common for the 1801 flag. So it's just a matter of, to me, it was a little bit, you're labeling one as only one and the other as only the other, where both terms were used for both flags over the years.
Gus, go ahead.
Yeah. John, the reference from that came from the United Empire Loyalist Association of Canada's website, so that's what we based it on. And also referenced it from the Government of Canada website in regards to historical flags. So it was, the language came from those sources.
Oh yeah, well, I've also looked at a UK website for flags, and it had a slightly different